So, well, Anna Wintour has just banned Meghan Markle and Prince Harry from the Met Gala. Snub stings, particularly hard for the Duchess, who actually had a shot at attending this year's costume art-themed event, given that two of the co-chairs, Beyoncé and Venus Williams, have loose connections to her social circle.
Meghan Markle just got hit with one of the most public snubs of her life, and the fashion world is absolutely reeling. Reports are claiming she was flat-out banned from the Met Gala 2026, and the two women behind that decision are Anna Wintour and Sanchez Bezos. Meghan has spent years selling the world on her fashion icon image. But the one event that could have made it official reportedly shut her out completely. To understand why this cuts so deep, you have to know who these women really are. Anna Wintour isn't just powerful, she is fashion. More than 30 years as editor-in-chief of Vogue, the undisputed queen of who's in and who's out in the high fashion world. Cross her, and your seat at the table disappears. Just like that. Then there's Sanchez Bezos, media personality, entertainment reporter, and wife of one of the wealthiest men alive. Between these two women, they don't just influence the Met Gala guest list. They are the guest list. And once they've made their call, it's final. No appeals, no second chances, no exceptions. So when invitations for the 2026 Met Gala reportedly went out, the world's biggest names were on that list. Beyoncé, Venus Williams, the top tier of entertainment, music, sports, and fashion all got their golden tickets. Everyone was welcomed with open arms, everyone except one duchess, who desperately wanted to be there. Meghan and Harry allegedly didn't make the cut. Insiders say Meghan was genuinely blindsided, hurt, frustrated, and completely powerless to change what had already been decided. But here's where it gets really interesting. The people Meghan publicly calls her friends, her inner circle, her Hollywood allies, they all got their invitations just fine. They're going. She's not.
Its biggest night out now has its 2026 co-chairs. In addition to Anna Wintour, who always sits at the helm of the annual fashion event and fundraiser, Beyoncé, Nicole Kidman, and Venus Williams have been tapped to co-chair alongside the Vogue global editorial director.
And that stings on a whole different level. Because being left off a guest list is one thing, but watching your so-called crew walk through doors that are firmly closed in your face, that kind of realization hits different. That cuts deep. Meghan has long presented herself as a card-carrying member of Hollywood's elite, but the Met Gala guest list is telling a very different story. Anna Wintour, the chief force behind the Met Gala, has reportedly had long-standing disagreements with Meghan. Wintour values discipline, tradition, and keeping the focus on fashion itself, not on one personality hijacking the spotlight. She knows Meghan's presence could pull media attention away from the fashion celebration and turn the whole night into a personal publicity moment. And that's something Wintour has never been here for. Then there's the Vogue situation, and this one is something else entirely. Word got out that Meghan walked into one of fashion's most powerful institutions and started making demands. Editorial control, her vision, her way. For Anna Wintour, a woman who has ruled the fashion world with an iron grip for decades, that was apparently not the move. Sources say the whole thing caught Wintour completely off guard. And from that moment on, the hesitation was very real. And apparently Meghan wanted to go even bigger, pushing some grand global cover concept that nobody asked for. And that didn't fit the magazine's direction at all. Ambition is one thing. Overstepping is a whole other level. Fashion insiders say her relentless focus on personal branding over genuine collaboration left Anna Wintour stone cold. And in the fashion world, that is the last person you ever want to lose. Wintour is known for quietly observing public figures before deciding whether they belong at an event as prestigious as the Met Gala.
Does that change the energy of the carpet?
They upped it. Love B, and just excited to have her there. And it's just going to be such an amazing night. The Met's always full of so many surprises, so I'm just really excited.
And reports claim that certain public appearances may have seriously damaged how Meghan was perceived in fashion circles. Showing up to fashion shows uninvited, engineered photo moments, even laughing at models on the runway. The Met Gala is fashion's most sacred night, and the last thing organizers allegedly wanted was someone treating it like their personal brand campaign. And it wasn't just Wintour keeping her distance. Sponsors connected to the Met Gala allegedly wanted nothing to do with any potential drama either. Jeff Bezos and Sanchez have carefully built their place at the very top of elite social circles, and protecting that position means keeping the guest list clean of anything that could spark controversy. After a string of high-profile incidents at exclusive gatherings, organizers reportedly made a calculated decision: when in doubt, keep the drama out. And Meghan, fairly or not, had become synonymous with exactly that. Remember the Kardashian situation? Meghan and Harry reportedly attended a birthday celebration at the Kardashian residence, and everything seemed fine. Until photographs from that evening started surfacing online. Suddenly, disputes broke out over who authorized what. The Kardashians allegedly contradicted Meghan's version of events publicly, creating exactly the kind of messy, embarrassing Hollywood fallout that no amount of money or PR spin can clean up. Following the Met Gala rejection, Meghan reportedly turned to social media in what many interpreted as a move to take back control of her narrative. Paparazzi-style images from Montecito, curated lifestyle content, family moments on display. Observers suggested this shift was designed to redirect public attention away from the snub and back onto her terms. All of it pointed straight back to her personal brand. During the Easter period, Meghan released lifestyle content that some audiences viewed as overly staged rather than genuinely heartfelt.
She's only interested in Nigeria, now you mention it, because guess what? She found a way to make the African nation all about her, because she found out that she had some historic connection through her ancestors.
Instead of anything traditionally meaningful, the focus reportedly stayed locked on personal branding and curated presentation. Online discussions described the content as highly produced, with some viewers speculating it had been scheduled well in advance as part of a broader PR strategy. Then the privacy debate came roaring back. Meghan and Harry have consistently spoken loudly about protecting their family from media exposure, yet during this same period, increased sharing of family-related visuals sparked serious debate online. Some observers started questioning whether the sudden visibility was directly connected to efforts to shift attention away from the Met Gala controversy. Critics argued that while the couple publicly campaigns against social media harm, private family moments were still being put on display whenever it suited their branding needs, and that contradiction did not go unnoticed. On top of all that, commentators pointed out something that's hard to ignore. The couple's popularity appears to have taken a significant hit compared to earlier years. The shine that once made them untouchable has reportedly been fading fast, and no amount of curated content seems to be bringing it back. Public enthusiasm surrounding their activism and media appearances has reportedly cooled off, and cooled off quickly. Audiences that once treated Meghan and Harry as global power figures are now seeing them in a completely different light. More like ordinary celebrities struggling to stay relevant in an industry that moves on without hesitation and without apology. Some observers have even noted that their decline has lasted longer than their actual peak. And that kind of talk spreading across the internet, no PR team can easily fix that. But let's take a real step back and look at the bigger picture. Because this isn't just about one event and one guest list. This is about a pattern.
Meghan Markle, apparently her attempt to get on the cover of Vogue has failed due to her long list of demands.
Well, yes, Danica, she was proposed to be on a Vogue cover here in Britain, but she wanted to be on the cover also in America. Vogue said no, they weren't warming to this idea. She had a whole list of demands that she wanted to do this cover, and it ended in tears, as it always does with Meghan Markle. So it's again showing she's very difficult to work with.
A trail of moments, decisions, and missed opportunities that quietly stacked up over the years until they became impossible to ignore. Every industry has its unwritten rules, and the fashion world, more than almost any other, runs on relationships, loyalty, and knowing your place in the room. And according to reports, Meghan struggled with all three. The signs were reportedly there long before the Met Gala invitations ever went out. Sources close to fashion circles suggest that Meghan's approach to the industry raised eyebrows early on. Rather than taking time to build genuine relationships, learn the culture, and earn her place organically, she allegedly came in with demands and expectations that didn't match where she actually stood. In a world where even the biggest global superstars tread carefully around figures like Wintour, that kind of energy gets noticed, and not in a good way. And here's what makes this whole situation even more fascinating. Meghan had real opportunities. She had the platform, the connections, the global recognition, and genuine public interest to carve out a legitimate and respected space in the fashion world. The pieces were all there, but reports suggest that instead of playing the long game and building something real, the focus kept coming back to control, image management, and making sure every moment reflected a carefully constructed narrative. Fashion. Insiders don't respond well to that, and they never will. Then came the Vogue situation that reportedly changed everything behind the scenes, walking into one of the most storied institutions in fashion history.
Firstly, the cheek of Meghan Markle to think that she can boss Anna Wintour around when it comes to a Vogue cover, to think that she's more important than all of these other stars who they already had lined up. But Angela, does this not say everything about Meghan Markle? Serena Williams is basically the only celebrity friend that has stood by her over all of these years. But she was trying to get Serena Williams booted off the cover. Do you think Serena had any idea? I mean, this just shows you how low this woman will go.
And allegedly pushing for editorial control, trying to reshape the vision of a magazine that had been operating at the highest level long before Meghan was a household name. That was reportedly the moment that shifted things permanently. For Anna Wintour, a woman who spent over 3 decades building and protecting the integrity of her brand, that kind of approach wasn't just unwelcome. It was reportedly the beginning of the end of any real fashion world alliance. Sources suggest Wintour is someone who respects ambition, but demands that ambition come with awareness, knowing the room, understanding the culture, and recognizing that fashion's most powerful figures didn't build their empires by letting outsiders rewrite their playbooks. Meghan allegedly never quite grasped that distinction, and according to insiders, that gap in understanding became a wall that proved impossible to climb. And then there's the broader social circle drama that reportedly made sponsors and organizers increasingly nervous. The Met Gala isn't just a fashion event. It's a carefully managed, high-stakes production where every single detail matters, including who's sitting next to whom and what kind of energy they bring into the room. After a series of high-profile incidents at exclusive gatherings where Meghan's presence allegedly generated controversy rather than celebration, the decision-makers behind the scenes reportedly started having very serious conversations. When the goal is to protect one of fashion's most prestigious nights, managing risk becomes just as important as the dress code. But here's the part that's almost hard to believe.
It's been revealed that Meghan Markle actually invited herself to this Paris Fashion Week show earlier this month. Now, the Balenciaga designer has claimed that she reached out and she said she would love to come to the show.
Despite everything that had reportedly unfolded behind the scenes, Meghan was still holding on to hope that an invitation might somehow find its way to her door. She reportedly believed with genuine conviction that attending the Met Gala would finally cement her legitimacy in the fashion world. The one stamp of approval that no Netflix deal, no podcast, no lifestyle brand, and no amount of social media content could ever fully replace. The Met Gala wasn't just a party to her. It was the validation she had been chasing. The moment that would silence the critics and prove once and for all that she had truly arrived in high fashion. But by the time invitations were finalized, the door had already closed, completely, permanently, and without any room for negotiation. Reports indicated there were no remaining spaces available. The guest list had been locked in, finished, and done. No late additions, no exceptions. No matter how much hope was still being held onto on the other side of that very closed door. Fashion's biggest night had spoken loudly and clearly, and Meghan was not part of the conversation. And that right there is the real story. It wasn't just about one missed invitation to one glamorous event on one Monday night in New York City. It was about years of moves, decisions, public moments, and behind-the-scenes dynamics that quietly added up until the most powerful names in fashion looked at that guest list and made a very deliberate, very calculated, and reportedly very final choice. When Anna Wintour and Sanchez Bezos draw a line, it doesn't move, it doesn't bend, and no amount of curated social media content, lifestyle aesthetics, or carefully timed public appearances is going to erase that reality. The fashion world operates on 3 things.
Sponsors Jeff Bezos and Sanchez are also said to have soured on the couple following the Kris Kardashian birthday party incident. Oh my goodness, we knew that was going to have ramifications to her dwindling social status. You'll remember, of course, the Sussexes pressured the family to scrap social media photos taken the night before the UK's Remembrance Day, a move that backfired spectacularly when Khloe and Kim Kardashian publicly contradicted their account of events.
Respect, relationships, and reputation. And all 3 take years to build carefully and only moments to lose completely. Meghan had every opportunity to play the long game, to collaborate genuinely, to show up with humility, and to earn her place at fashion's most elite table entirely on fashion's own terms. Instead, reports suggest she tried to rewrite the rules, demand control over institutions that didn't belong to her, and consistently make every moment about her personal brand at every possible turn. And in a world ruled by people like Anna Wintour, that approach doesn't just fail quietly, it gets you permanently removed from the conversation without a single public word ever being said. The silence itself becomes the statement. And in fashion, silence from the right people is the loudest message of all. So here we are. The Met Gala 2026 is happening. The biggest names in the entire world are walking that iconic staircase. Cameras are flashing, fashion history is being made, and Meghan is reportedly watching all of it from the outside. Whether the exclusion was fair, strategic, deeply personal, or simply the natural consequence of years of burned bridges and boundaries pushed too far, one thing is absolutely clear. This story has captured the attention of the entire world, and people have very strong and very passionate feelings about it on both sides. Was Anna Wintour right to exclude Meghan from the Met Gala? Was Sanchez Bezos a key force behind keeping that door firmly shut? Was this a cold and calculated power move from fashion's most elite circle?
Picture headlined a week of simple pleasures. And, I mean, the basic bitch advice, guys. Seriously, it's so bad. Sorry, I hate to laugh, but like, this is her advice. Set the table in colour and spend an afternoon decorating eggs together. A bowl of dye, a dozen eggs, a little whimsy. It becomes less about the outcome and more about the time spent side by side. From you, Meghan? Seriously, don't try and tell me how to spend my Easter.
Or simply the inevitable consequence of a relationship damaged beyond repair long before invitation season even began? Was Meghan treated unfairly? Or did her own actions create the outcome she was desperately trying to avoid? The fashion world rarely explains itself. It simply acts with quiet authority. And this time, that action spoke louder than any press release, any statement, or any carefully worded response ever could. There are people out there who genuinely feel for Meghan, who believe she has been unfairly targeted, held to impossible standards, and judged more harshly than others in similar situations would ever be. And that perspective absolutely deserves to be part of this conversation. But there are also people who look at the full timeline of events, the pattern of reported behavior, and the consistent reactions from powerful figures across multiple industries, and they see a very different picture. One where the outcomes were not random, but the direct result of choices made along the way. The truth, as always, probably lives somewhere in the complicated and messy space between both of those perspectives. And that is exactly what makes this story so completely impossible to look away from. Let's really sit with both sides of this debate for a moment, because this isn't black and white, and anybody telling you it is not giving you the full picture. On one side, you have people who point to Meghan's background, her journey, and the very real challenges she has spoken about publicly.
Meghan Markle, because her popularity in Britain has reached a record low. Her favourability rating has dropped to just 20%, meaning it's only Prince Andrew who's more disliked than her. This is according to a YouGov poll which found the public perception of Meghan Markle was now at its worst since it started tracking the data back in 2017.
She came into one of the most scrutinized institutions on the planet, the British royal family, as an outsider, as a biracial American woman, and as someone who had already built her own identity and career long before any of that happened. That is not a small thing. That is an enormous thing. And the pressure that comes with that kind of spotlight, that kind of public dissection of every single move you make, most people would not last 5 minutes under that level of intensity. Supporters argue that Meghan has consistently been held to a standard that simply does not apply to others in her position. Every fashion choice, every public appearance, every business move, every interview, all of it analyzed, critiqued, and picked apart in ways that feel personal rather than professional. And when someone is operating under that kind of microscope from day one, it becomes genuinely difficult to separate what is fair criticism from what is simply a pile-on dressed up as commentary. Her supporters also point to the very real achievements she has made: a successful Netflix partnership, a podcast that reached millions of listeners, a lifestyle brand that generated significant public interest, and a global platform that she has used to speak on causes she clearly believes in deeply. These are not the moves of someone who has failed. These are the moves of someone who is actively building something, even when the world seems determined to tear it down at every possible turn. And yet, and this is where it gets complicated, there is another side to this story that simply cannot be ignored. because the pattern of reported friction doesn't come from just one source, or two sources, or even three. It comes from multiple industries, multiple circles, and multiple powerful figures who, by all accounts, have very little reason to coordinate their reactions.
Now, Paula, look, she does say there's always the chance of a last-minute invite, that type of thing, but it's not looking good, and it is surprising given you've got the Bezos, the Beyonce, the Williams, but it does feel like Anna Wintour has put her foot down. Plus, I guess a bit of Lauren Sanchez mixed in. I would count.
When the fashion world, the royal institution, Hollywood social circles, and media organizations all reportedly arrive at similar conclusions independently, that starts to look less like a conspiracy and more like a consistent pattern of behavior that keeps producing the same results no matter the environment. That is the part that Meghan's critics keep coming back to. And honestly, it's hard to dismiss entirely. Because if the issue were simply one difficult relationship, one bad experience, one misunderstanding, that would be easy to write off. But when the same dynamic reportedly plays out again and again across completely different worlds and completely different power structures, the common denominator becomes impossible to ignore. And in this case, that common denominator is Meghan herself. Critics argue that the reported demands, the alleged push for control, and the consistent focus on personal branding over genuine collaboration have followed her from one chapter to the next, from the royal family to Hollywood, from Vogue to the Met Gala guest list. The story keeps rhyming in ways that are hard to explain away as mere coincidence or targeted bias. And for every person who sees a woman being unfairly pushed out, there is another person who sees a pattern of choices that keep closing doors that didn't have to be closed. Now, here is what makes this entire conversation even more layered and even more fascinating. Both of these things can be true at the same time. It is entirely possible that Meghan has faced genuine bias, real unfair treatment, and systemic challenges that others in her position simply did not have to navigate. And that some of her reported decisions and approaches contributed to outcomes that worked against her own best interests. Life is rarely one or the other. Most of the time, it is both. And pretending otherwise doesn't serve anybody. Not Meghan, not her critics, and certainly not the people watching from the outside trying to make sense of it all. What we can say with certainty is this: the fashion world is one of the most unforgiving arenas on the planet. It rewards those who understand its culture, who respect its gatekeepers, and who play the long game with patience and strategic awareness. It does not reward shortcuts, it does not respond well to demands, and it absolutely does not forgive those who walk into its most sacred institutions and try to rewrite the rules on day one. That is not a Meghan-specific rule. That is simply how that world operates for everybody, including people with far more established relationships and far longer track records than Meghan ever had in fashion. And Anna Wintour, let's be very clear about who we are talking about here, is not someone who makes decisions emotionally or impulsively. Every move she makes is calculated, considered, and deliberate. When someone of her stature and experience reportedly makes a decision to keep a specific person off a guest list, it is not a snap judgment. It is the result of years of observation, years of reported interactions, and a very clear-eyed assessment of what that person's presence would or would not bring to the table. That is the kind of quiet, cold, and completely final power that Anna Wintour has spent over 3 decades building, and it is exactly why her decisions carry the weight that they do. Lauren Sanchez Bezos operates in a similar space. Someone who has built her position at the top of elite social circles through careful navigation, smart relationship management, and a very clear understanding of what it takes to protect a reputation at that level. When someone like Lauren reportedly aligns with Anna Wintour on a decision this significant, it sends a message that echoes far beyond one guest list. It signals to the entire ecosystem of fashion, media, and elite social circles that a very deliberate line has been drawn. And that line is not up for debate. So where does that leave Meghan going forward? That is honestly the most interesting question of all, because this story is not over, not by a long stretch. Meghan is still one of the most recognizable and talked about women on the planet. She still has a platform that most people would trade almost anything for. She still has the ability to pivot, to rebuild, to approach things differently, and to potentially write a completely different chapter than the one that is currently unfolding. History is full of public figures who faced enormous setbacks, massive public rejections, and seemingly insurmountable reputational challenges, and came back stronger, smarter, and more respected than ever before. But that kind of comeback requires something that reports suggest has been in short supply in Meghan's recent public journey: genuine humility, a willingness to listen, and the ability to let go of the need to control every single narrative at every single moment. The fashion world, like most elite worlds, responds to authenticity. It responds to people who show up ready to learn, ready to contribute, and ready to add something real to the conversation rather than simply using the conversation as a backdrop for their own personal story. Whether Meghan has the awareness, the willingness, and the strategic patience to make that kind of shift, that is something only time will tell. But one thing is absolutely certain: the world is watching. The world has always been watching. And right now, the story that the world is seeing is one of doors closing, bridges burning, and an increasingly narrow path forward in some of the most powerful circles on the planet. This is not just celebrity gossip. This is a masterclass in how reputation works, how power operates, and how the decisions we make in moments of ambition and opportunity can either open doors for decades or quietly close them forever. Every single person watching this story unfold can take something from it, because the dynamics at play here are not unique to Meghan Markle or the Met Gala or the fashion world. They play out in workplaces, in social circles, in industries of every kind, every single day. Know the room. Build genuine relationships, respect the culture you are walking into, and understand that the most powerful people in any room rarely need to raise their voice, because their silence already says everything. That is the real lesson buried inside this story. And it is one worth remembering long after the Met Gala red carpet photos have faded from everyone's timelines. Now it's your turn. Get into that comment section right now. Do you think Meghan deserved a spot on that Met Gala guest list? Or was this absolutely the right call from Anna Wintour and Sanchez Bezos? Is this about fashion, personal conflict, power dynamics, or something much bigger that has been quietly building for years? Is Meghan a victim of a system that was never truly designed to welcome her? Or did her own moves create this situation? Do you think she can come back from this? And if so, what would that even look like? Drop your real, unfiltered thoughts below, because this conversation is just getting started, and every single opinion matters. If you made it all the way to the end of this one, you are absolutely one of us, and we appreciate you more than words can say. Hit that like button right now, because it helps more than you will ever know, and it tells us you want more content exactly like this. And if you are not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button so you never miss a single video. Trust us, you do not want to be left out of what is coming next. Share this video with someone who needs to see it, text it, post it, send it. Because everybody has an opinion on this one, and the more voices in this conversation, the better. We will see you in the next one. And believe us when we say, the next one is going to be something else entirely.